This month, Geekism's chosen charity is St Giles Hospice. If you enjoyed this video, please consider making a small donation at the link in the description. Thanks. Hello you, welcome to Geekism and welcome to Toolkit Treasures. This is a new series where we're going to take a look at some of the best of the rest stuff that is found on the Thememakers Toolkit workshop. It's not just me though, I am joined by the first lady of Planco herself, Delay Designer. Hello.
Hello, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome here. So the way this is going to work, I a little while ago said on a video that I was interested in doing a little roundup of the best stuff each week or each month or whatever. And Michelle, the lady, got in touch with me and said, "Oh, I'm looking at doing the same sort of thing. So rather than us both sort of competing against each other, shall we come together and do it together?" So here we are.
Exactly. Yeah.
So Toolkit Treasures is going to take it in turns between our channels and hosting it. So this week it's me hosting it here on Geekism, and then next week we'll go over to Delay Designer's channel and she'll host it, and I'll talk less and she'll talk more. So we've both selected some stuff. Mostly I've selected this week, and then mostly next week it'll be Delay's picks, but we've both got some stuff in there. And there's some really... Are you, first of all, before we get started, are you impressed by the Thememakers Toolkit so far?
Oh, definitely. There's not that much in the workshop yet, but the things I've seen are really amazing. So I'm just really excited for what will come in the future. Yeah,
I wasn't 100% too sure what to expect, to be honest. Whether we get 1,000 things on the first day or 5 things for the first week or whatever. There's over 200 items in there now, and I would say about half of them are sort of proper assets. It's not there's quite a lot of people testing and you know, like first goes at stuff or whatever, but there's easily a good sort of 20 or 30 really decent things that you could put straight into your parks as they stand. We've selected about 10 of them, so let's dive in and have a look. Okay, so first off we have the Wheelie Bin by Dew of the Sea. These are awesome. Now, we were just talking off camera about, now wheelie bin is a very like slang term in the UK for these things. They're basically refuse bins, refuse trash cans, but they have wheels on them, so we call them wheelie bins. So what's the, is there a Dutch word for these?
I think it's called a mini container.
A mini
like
container.
That
That doesn't sound Dutch.
I always call them Clico, but that is probably the brand that makes them, but...
That's fine. But these are really good. I'm really impressed with these for a couple of reasons. One, they look great. They look exactly what they're meant to look like, don't they? You know exactly what it is. But also, they're a really good size, as in the actual file size is like, it's really well optimized, so you could throw these down in your park and have no problem. And I think these are one of the few items we've got so far that really look like Planco.
Oh, definitely.
Like, they could drop this in as an asset in a DLC pack, and you know what I mean? He's really managed to get. They have really managed to get the sort of Planet Coaster style to the point where I think yes. I know a lot of people don't like people putting Planco logos on items, but that's their logo there on top of the bin. Is that
a Planco logo?
No. It's Dew of the Sea's logo.
Oh, that's so funny.
So they've got their own logo in there, and there's a little number on the front as well. But it's all done with normals, which again is great. The one thing I want to point out here is it might look a little fuzzy, you know, like a little blurry, the textures and stuff. But that's kind of Planco. That's Planco style. If you come over to look at something that's made in Planco, like look at the buttons on that. You know, It is. They have blurry assets, and it's because you're going to be sticking 10, 15, 20,000 items in the park, you know. So I think this is really good. And one thing we're going to talk about a little bit later is that some of the stuff is a little bit unoptimized, and even though it looks really good and shiny and neat, I think really we're going to have to get used to sort of everything being a little bit sort of pulled back a little bit, so we can actually use them in parks and not have everything crawl, you know. But no, they're awesome. These are going to be thrown into Pinewood Hill straight away. I think they look great.
They are really brilliant. So next one is from Ms. Red Nubula. Hopefully I pronounced that right. And it's a Goopy Signwaving. It's so funny and really cool. And like you just said, like definitely a Planco style, because it's also a little bit too big. Yeah. But I really like it. And that's all we get in Planco, right? Big assets and big signs. So it totally fits.
I've dropped this in place in Gulpyland, which is an area of my park here, and it's not too bad size-wise, but I think it's really good. What I do like about it is that it's an animatronic, but it moves like you would. It moves very realistically. It's just kind of like a really boring wave, and I think sometimes some of the in-game animatronics in Planco, they're not really animatronics, are they? They're just animated people or whatever, and they stick a pipe up their bum, you know. I like the fact that this is actually a little bit like electronic, you know, like you know, back and forth, and I think it's really good. So congratulations, Miss Red Nebula, you are the first Thememakers Toolkit piece to go into Pinewood Hills. That's not my own, obviously I'll put my cash register in, but you're the first one I've downloaded to put in.
It's really cool. Well done.
So from something pretty big to something pretty small, the smallest thing I've seen on the workshop, actually. This is by Wishing on a Wendy, and it's a popcorn box. This is, first of all, Wishing on a Wendy is a very active member of the Bro Nation community and just the Planco community in general. They've also been providing a lot of help and advice for people trying to get started in the toolkit. So I want to say well done to that, and thank you for that. But look at this, it's awesome.
I love it.
Popcorn cardboard thing. So again, another thing I saw, and I was like, I know exactly where that's going to go in Pinewood. I've got a popcorn machine that's going to go straight there. Like I've seen these designs as well at cinemas and stuff. Like this actually looks like a real life popcorn tub.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? Like that actual design I've seen printed in places. So that's great that they've managed to get hold of that and work.
I'm definitely going to use these. Totally. They are so cool.
The first thing I said when I saw it, I was like, it's fantastic. Now make a full one. Now make one with some popcorn in it. That's the next thing I want to see.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. But no, it's really good. Now, I know that they've had to do a little trick here because this is technically smaller than the smallest thing that's allowed to be uploaded to the workshop.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They have a little limitation in there where one of the measurements, like imagine a cube, one of the sides of that shape has to be 0.5 meter at the smallest it can be. So which means that a lot of things like tiny things that we want to do, like things like this and like glasses and cutlery and all things like for restaurants or whatever, would be really tricky to do. But what we figured out was that if you make a small cube that's like above it and make it transparent. Yeah. So these shapes, actually there's a little cube that sits about there, I guess, that's invisible to see. So if I click it, there you go, I can actually select that popcorn from there. Look, you see. So it's going to be a little bit funny to try and move them around once they're placed, but I think that's a and there we have it.
Where did that come from?
Sorry, do we not talk about you enough? This is meant to be Delaney talking about this one, but she says, what can I say about a rock? I have got loads to say about this rock.
Yeah, you just go ahead and talk about this rock, because I don't mean it's like it looks bad, but it looks great, but it's rock, so well done on the rock.
So this is from M. Stanko. It's called Large Flat Rock A, I think, which makes me assume we're going to get Large Flat Rock B and Large Flat Rock C at some point as well. Again, yeah, it is a rock, but I think the good thing about this is because it just looks like that could be a Planco rock. You know, it's very well designed, very well developed. Yeah. Again, M. Stanko has been really, really great with people, helping them get onto the toolkits as a workflow and stuff. He actually does it for a living. He's a professional 3D modeler, which is why this does just look like a really good rock. It's a little shiny. I think he said he was going to have another pass to make it not quite as reflective, but I've personally wanted a rock with a large... The details are really good. Yeah, it's really nicely done. But a large rock that just has like a big flat surface is actually very useful. There's only a couple that you've really got that to do with it. So, okay, it is just a rock, but it's a pretty good just a rock.
Okay, so next up is the lifting truck from Das Matze. I think it's a German name. And this is really one of my favorites that haven't uploaded to the workshop so far. It looks so good.
It's really nice, isn't it? I like how there's like bits of metal rusted away and stuff, you know?
Yes, it's really, really well made. I feel like it's still kind of a Planco style, but isn't that just because of the textures of the certain color that it will automatically makes it feel more Planko style.
Yeah, I think again
amazing.
it's relatively low poly, but with a lot of the detail being added in through texture maps, which probably doesn't mean anything to a lot of people, but that's kind of the Planko style.
Yeah,
the actual model itself doesn't have that much detail. A lot of the detail is added through texture. So like you say here, through the bits of metal that are being like worn away and stuff. And also one thing I forgot to mention is a lot of these items are flexi-color as well. So this one is flexi-color. You can come in and actually make it a different color. We were just arguing about what color this should be.
Yeah, but it's amazing that we can do that.
Yeah, it's
like
not something
these things make
yet.
me so excited about a Thememakers Toolkit. I know a lot of people were like, I don't know if people are gonna use the Thememakers Toolkit stuff. People are not being creative themselves, but these things, this is making the Thememakers Toolkit. Like, I just really like it.
Okay, next up, two things together because they're both by Sky Player and they are both Disneyland things. You couldn't really get much different though. One is a gorgeous ornate sign and the other one is where you throw your rubbish when you're done with it. So we have this really lovely Disneyland park and hotel entrance. This is like, I think, the original Californian sign I think this is based on.
Could be.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but it looks
No.
like this. And then also we have this awesome trash can.
I really like it. Like, I'm a
really
huge
good as
Disney
well.
fan, so this is definitely something that fits my
You could
favorites.
use. Yeah, it's a good one. I think the good thing about Disney stuff as well is there's going to be a lot of reference images online. You know, so if you want to do, because obviously, you know, they've managed to find a really high res picture of that basically, so they can stretch that over then, so you've got Jiminy Cricket on it and stuff. So one good thing with all that sort of stuff is there's going to be a lot of reference images.
Can't wait to see more Disney stuff.
And the best thing is as well, because these are quite a decent size, you can throw them over trash cans that are already in the game. So I've got a trash can here. I mean, what are the chances somebody's going to come and use it? Not much, but I'll just show you now. Look, we have a trash can. I have to come out of that so I can see it properly. And you can hide them when I'm allowed
really
to click
awesome.
them.
It's a little bit too big, maybe, but
It's maybe
not,
a little big, yeah. There we go.
Not too annoying, but you can definitely hide away a bin underneath it.
Yeah, we were just saying about that, wouldn't we? It'd be nice to see people sort of figure out the size of the plain benches and stuff.
And like recreate stuff to
making
place
stuff
over
that
it.
will just cover it nicely, you know, so we can fill out some of the themes that are missing. That would be really good.
Next up, the wheelchair of my favorite camel, Rudy Wren Camel. And this is really well done, Mr. Camel. Like, all the details with those wheels, and it's really good.
It is really, really good. I know he's still working on it because, again, he wants to make the seats flexi-color, I think. So I know he's still working on it, and I think he's going to shrink it down a little bit as well, because not actually physically, but it's quite a big file size at the moment. I think because of the amount of detail he's got on like the wheels and stuff. So I think he's going to go back in this week and kind of make it a little bit more Planko, because if anything, it's a bit too good, you know, like it's a little bit too detailed, you know, when you compare it next to like Planko stuff that I've got built in. But these is exactly where these are going. I've got it's currently a stroller rental, but it's going to become a stroller and wheelchair rental now.
Yeah.
But you can just see the scale of these is perfect. He measured it on his video, showed it against the people. It looks really good. But it just shows you how huge these strollers I've made with in-game stuff are now.
True.
Compared, you know. So Rudy, if you fancy another wheel project, feel free to knock up a kid stroller as well, and I'll stick them in here as well.
Yeah, definitely. Really well done, Rudy.
So, after a lovely walk around Pinewood Hills, checking out all the new stuff, it's time for me and a lady to sit down and have a drink. Do you fancy a coffee or...?
Oh, yes, please. Street Fox coffee sounds delicious.
A Street Fox coffee? Well, it just so happens we now have these awesome Street Fox coffee cups.
They're so good.
Made by Red Mist, and again using the same sort of technique as the popcorn, tricking the game into thinking they're sort of bigger than they are, so we get these nice small models. How good do they look? Just sort of sat outside the drinks place here now. Really, really good. Really, really nice model. Love the fact that we've got the in-game brand on there as well. If you've watched my series, you'll know I'm a huge fan of incorporating the in-game brands into my parks as best I can. For instance, On our bus stops here, we have Princess
so
perfume and spicy chicken available. So I'm all for incorporating brands. So I think it's really great that you've gone for Street Fox coffee as opposed to like Starbucks or something I could get. Having said all that, I do have a slight issue with these cups, and that is that as far as file size is concerned, these are the biggest things I've downloaded so far.
Can you imagine? It's super small. But...
Yeah, they're about 16 megabytes, and compared to that popcorn tub, for instance, is about 0.4 megabytes or something like that. So it's literally about 8,000% bigger or something ridiculous like that. And that's purely because of how detailed it is. Really, really smooth models, really high-res image, and basically Planco isn't built for it. It can't handle it. If you look at resolution, I mean, even on the table you can see the polygons that make this table look there. There's a line there, the texture's a little bit unsmoothed.
There's a huge difference between
here you can't see them. It's just too good. Again, same with Rudy's wheelchair, they're just too good, because let's be honest, as gorgeous as they look like that, 99% of the time you're playing Planet Coaster like this.
True.
And when you're playing Planet Coaster like this, it doesn't really matter how detailed they are, because you're just you're wasting polygons and you're wasting computers.
Definitely, and you would be crashing your game if you place down like hundreds of them.
Well, if you place down as many as those as you want to place down, because you do want to put a couple of those on every table, don't you?
Oh yes.
So as gorgeous as it is, one of my favourite things, I really think it's worth going back and really, really reducing it down to make it something that we can actually use.
I think that would be great for these cups, because I'm pretty sure that a lot of people would download them and would want to use them.
Yeah. Now I've kind of, the stuff I've picked here is kind of like based on realism and like flavor pieces, like little things that stick in the background to sort of fill that stuff out. So I think next episode we might try and do something a little bit more sort of maybe fantasy-esque a little bit, because Delaydy's very known for sort of big fantasy builds,
I do like that.
You do your backstages and stuff, don't you? But
no.
No. Oh, there you go. No.
I'm not. Well, with the Studios pack, I did a little bit more of like the realistic stuff, but overall, I'm more of the fantasy. I just really like fantasy, but we're just gonna see what will be uploaded
see what comes out. I think the big thing is at the moment is a lot of people are using the workshop to fill gaps. So somebody's probably sat there and really wanted a wheelie bin. So as soon as it came out, like for me, for instance, like I said, the only thing I've made so far is this cash register over here, and that's just because
that one is so cool.
Well, I just really wanted to stick a cash register there, so I got fed up of waiting for somebody to make one, so I went and made it myself.
Cool.
If you like any of the items that we've shown here and you want to put them in your own parks, there's a Google Doc in the description that'll take you through to links to all of them, because Google Docs are cool. Even though Delay Designer doesn't like them. Maybe in the next video
saying just make a Steam favorites list.
We'll have a Steam favorites list, but at the moment it's a Google Doc that'll link through to all of you. If there's anything you've seen in the workshop that you think is really awesome that we've missed, put those down in the comments as well. Again, we're going to try and do these videos weekly. It might be fortnightly. It depends how much stuff gets put on the workshop, to be honest, but either way, every other video we're going to swap back and forth between our channels. So this week it was here on Geekism, so next Tuesday we're going to be on Delay Designer's channel, so again there'll be a link in the description to find us over there.
I'm really looking forward to it.
Anything else we want to plug? Oh yes, there is actually one more thing. If you are interested in trying to do this yourself, if you are a seasoned 3D modeler, or if you've never opened Blender before in your life, we have a subreddit that is devoted to the Thememakers Toolkit. It's full of tutorials, discussion, places to share assets and works in progress and things like that. Again, the link will be in the description, but if you go on to Reddit, if you're a Reddit user, and just look for Thememakers Toolkit, the Thememakers Toolkit creator community, you should find it there. I think that's it.
Yes, I think so too.
Good stuff. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, you can give us a like. It really does help at the channel. And if you're new here and you'd like to see lots more creative gaming for grown-ups, don't forget to click subscribe. Any thoughts, queries or suggestions, you can pop those down in the comments. If you fancy a chat, you can find me on Twitter. I'm at Jonty Sparrow, and the lady
at Delay Designer, or on YouTube, Delay Designer,
of course. And thank you very much for watching. Thank you to all of our patrons who help make these videos possible through their support at patreon.com/geekism. And don't forget to check out the affiliate links in the description. Get yourself some cheap games and help the channel while you're at it. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.
Bye guys.